The best bands of all time. Arctic Monkeys. Arguably the best British band of the millennium? The Monkees themselves probably think so. Foo Fighters. The nicest man in rock. The biggest rock band of the 21st century. Simple. Blur. Never afraid to evolve, Blur have grown up a lot since the 1990s, but never stopped making challenging music. The Beatles. John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison and Ringo Starr, four men from Liverpool who literally changed the way we understood and enjoyed pop music. They will live on forever. Oasis. Oasis once turned the UK music industry upside down, and a reunion of Liam and Noel Gallagher is on a lot of people's wish lists. Guns N' Roses. No other band captured the madness of the 80s rock quite like Axl, Slash and the Boys did. Kasabian. Claiming the crown of Britain's biggest rock band came easily to a band as confident as Kasabian. Green Day. American Idiot reinvented the Californian punks and made a whole new generation love them. AC/DC. The hard-rocking Australians have been blasting eardrums since 1973 and kept going despite death, deafness and changing trends. Florence and the Machine. Florence Welch and her collective of like-minded friends are one of the best live acts in the world at the moment. Courteeners. Middleton's favourite sons have become one of the biggest live draws in the UK thanks to Liam Frey's superb songwriting. Joy Division. As influential as ever, Joy Division's dark sound remains as haunting now as it did in the post-punk years. The Stone Roses. A band so good that they reduced fans to tears of joy when they got back together in 2012. Their debut album is a stone-cold classic. The Rolling Stones. As they call themselves, they are the greatest rock and roll band in the world. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards are the quintessential rock duo. Biffy Clyro. After years of hard work and raucous shows, the Biff became stars of rock in 2007. They're now one of the country's biggest acts. Coldplay. Ignore the haters, Chris Martin and the boys can write a tune that'll lift up the heaviest of hearts. Blondie. Fronted by the iconic Deborah Harry, these New York punks went stellar worldwide with some memorable hits. Depeche Mode. From their synth-pop roots in Essex to their dark rock stadium success in the 80s and 90s, Depeche Mode are a world-beating act. Elbow. The heartfelt lyrics of Guy Garvey rightfully made Elbow the nation's favorite band. Fleetwood Mac. Founded as a blues band, this British-American group weathered lineup changes and transformed their style into the epitome of West Coast rock cool. Led Zeppelin. There's a reason people would sell their soul for a Zeppelin reunion, they invented the rock rule book. Pink Floyd. From eccentric psychedelia to stadium-straddling rock stars, the Floyd redefined what the rock album could do. Muse. Muse have created their own sound and revolutionized what stadium rock can do. Not bad for three lads from Devon. Kings of Leon. Sex on Fire made them superstars, but the band's brilliant and eclectic back catalog offers something for everyone. The Smiths. The unique songwriting collaboration between Morrissey and Johnny Marr, backed by the impeccable engine room of bassist Andy Rourke and drummer Mike Joyce. Nirvana. The sound of Generation X, now the blueprint for alternative rock, Kurt Cobain was the most charismatic frontman of the 90s. Queen. Prog rock meets stadium rock, courtesy of four incredible talents, Freddie Mercury, Brian May, John Deacon and Roger Taylor. Pulp. The Pulp recipe is simple, some of the smartest lyrics in history, courtesy of Jarvis Cocker, combined with some of the best melodies. The Who. They epitomized the mod movement in the 60s and forged the heavy rock movement in the 70s. Roger Daltrey, Pete Townsend, John Entwistle and Keith Moon were an iconic unit. Mumford and Sons. As soon as America took the folk rockers to their hearts, it became clear they were going to take over the world. Primal Scream. They've changed their sound over the years but never lost the incredible energy thanks to the swagger of frontman Bobby Gillespie. Manic Street Preachers. Lesser bands would have given up after Richie Edwards' disappearance, but the Manics just got even better. Radiohead. They started in the Britpop years, but transcended fashion with some intelligent, challenging rock music. R.E.M. They went from underdogs to the biggest record deal in the music industry, but a reunion sadly seems unlikely. The Cure. With a generation-spanning fanbase that loves them unconditionally, The Cure are a truly unique band. Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Los Angeles Funkadeurs have changed their lineup many times, but never lost their unique groove. The Jam. Remarkably young and remarkably fresh, The Jam didn't stick around long but left a lasting impression, and of course, frontman Paul Weller remains an icon. The Strokes. They gave rock music the kick up the backside it sorely needed in the early 2000s, and for that we are eternally grateful. Stereophonics. Bringing a classic British rock sound back to the charts, Stereophonics blasted out of Wales with debut Word Gets Around and never looked back. Suede. Throwing down the gauntlet for other 1990s Britpop titans, Suede sounded even more relevant when they reunited a few years ago. The Charlatans. Never settling into one sound for too long, the Charlatans have reshaped themselves time and again and never lost their following. Editors. Blowing early comparisons to Joy Division out of the water, Editors became festival favorites for a very good reason and continue to produce addictive albums. The Clash. Loved when they first burst onto the scene and even more iconic now, The Clash added brilliant songwriting to punk's raw materials. Bloc Party. After a debut album that's still a classic, Bloc Party continue to perform compelling live shows. New Order. From the ashes of the beloved Joy Division came a new sound, electronic, danceable and uniquely Mancunian. The Killers. If you've ever been to an club and haven't danced to Mr. Brightside, you're doing it wrong. The Libertines. Thrilling fans with their love-hate, love bond, Carl Barat and Pete Doherty also turned out some of the finest British tracks. U2. Love him or hate him, it's hard to deny that Bono and the boys put on a show like nobody else.